Today I'm going to be making 5 cards with no paper scraps left over and testing out 3 different adhesives from Tape Runner. Hey, it's Beth. Welcome. Today I'm excited to announce that I am part of the Tape Runner design team. So I have 3 different Tape Runner adhesives here to try out today. I just wanted to kind of experiment and see which one I might like best. So I have one that is a retractable one, and then just kind of a smaller but cuter pink one, and then they're kind of like standard Tape Runner adhesive. So we're going to be kind of experimenting with those today, and then I'm going to be using 2 of my no scrap sketch sets to create some cards with. I'm going to be making, I think 5 cards is what these make. And we'll use up these 2 sheets of 6x8 pattern paper. And I figured kind of with each different set of cards, I will use a different tape runner to kind of get a feel for them and see which ones that I like best. So let's go ahead and get crafting. The paper I'm using today is from the Bunnies in Bloom collection from Simple Stories, and I've gone ahead and cut the pieces that I needed for both sketches, and we'll be using sketch set 19 first, which uses 2 sheets of 6x6 pattern paper and then makes 4 A2 cards. I also went ahead and cut some cardstock card mats out of green cardstock. The first tape runner I'm going to be using is the retractable, which is nice because you can just press that button on the end there and it pops the like runner part out, but then it puts it back in when you're not using it, keeps it safe. And also one nice thing about this one is you saw me kind of open it up and take out the tape part. So this one is refillable, which I do like. It runs, it goes on smooth, and I like the kind of compact size of it. It just fits well on my fingers and is really easy to control. For my sketch, we'll be mixing and matching patterns from both of the sheets that I've cut down. And I do bring in some matting pieces. I will have my sketch sets linked down in the description box below for you. If you are interested, they are free downloads. They come with the instructions, the sketch, the cutting guide, everything you need to kind of help you make a set number of cards and use up the paper completely, not creating any new scraps. I did decide to bring in a white cardstock mat for this particular piece, and then I'm going to be using up some leftover Love from Lizzie ephemera. These girls were really cute, and the colors in the girls and their flowers worked really well with the colors in the papers that I was using. So I'm gonna punch a circle from some white cardstock and was just trying to figure out which size was going to be the best for the ephemera piece that I was using. And I am just going to punch it out of that mat piece that I created, and then we'll go ahead and adhere that pattern paper piece down to the mat. It's going to cover the hole. You'll never know that I punched a circle out of it before adhering it down. Then we'll add that to the card. And then I am going to bring in some wet glue just to add that ephemera piece down since it was kind of small. And then I have some sentiments already stamped off to the side, and decided to go with the sentiment, "You are in my thoughts." And then we'll use the retractable runner to add adhesive to the back of my circle and then the back of my sentiment. And sketch 1 is done. I'll do the second one off camera. So moving on to sketch B, I have a white card mat cut for this one as well, and then we'll just be adhering those strips down to the card mat. This time I'm using the pink tape runner. Again, I like the feel of this one in my hands. It's really easy to control, nice and compact. goes on smooth, easy to adhere. And if you have followed me or know me at all, you could probably tell what my favorite thing about this particular tape runner is. The hint, it is the color of my mat that I'm working on. It is pink. So anytime I can have pink tools, I am all for it. So I do love that about this one. Have added my strips down to the mat, and then I'm going to add that to my card mat. Again, I have that green card mat. My cards are A2, and so the card mats are 4 1/8 by 5 3/8. I'll add that down, and then I have this little strip, and I'm going to go ahead and turn it over to the pink side, just because there was some words on the back side that I didn't want showing. Add my banner, and then we'll add that down. Going to be using some more ephemera pieces and punching another circle. This time I did use some scrap cardstock, and I'm going to layer her. And my sketch, which is showing right there, the sketch B, it does show the circle and sentiment towards the left side of the card, but my girl is looking to the left, so I decided to put her over on the right hand side of the card, and then my sentiment will be to the left of the circle. So I'm kind of flip-flopping the placement of my focal point circle and the sentiment. And then we'll just add my sentiment down. This time I just went with one that says thinking of you. And that is sketch B. So for my next sketch, it's sketch set number 6, and I just used the scraps because I had 6x8 paper and I cut them down to 6x6 for the first sketch set. I needed two 2-inch strips for this sketch, and so that worked out perfectly with the scraps that I had left. So together these two sketches kind of make a no scrap sketch set as well for 6x8 instead of 6x6. This time I'm using kind of their standard tape runner. It has the most tape in it, so it's probably, I guess, the most economical one. It has the most tape in it. Again, small, easy to work, easy to handle, goes on smooth. I haven't, of the 3 so far, there are none of them that I have not liked, so I really appreciate that. And affordability wise, they're all pretty economical. This one just happens to have like the most tape in it, so you get, I guess, a little more bang for your buck. That's what I really like about this one. The retractable one I liked for its retractability and the fact that you can put replacement cartridges in, so you're not having to buy new hardware, I guess, every time. You're just buying replacement refills. That's what I'm looking for. This time I'm going with the sentiment prayers and hugs, and I'm just going to add that down at the bottom right. And then I am going to pull in some little tiny heart embellishments that were left over. I have some embellishments that go along with this pad, and they're just, they're not adhesive. They're just like the punch out die cut kind. I just felt like this card needed a little something in the kind of the top left. So I'm going to add 2 hearts up there and then 1 right above my sentiment, and we'll adhere those down. And then I had 1 little piece of patterned paper left over, 1 little scrap, so I'm just going to angle that with the banner and then add that to the inside of my card, and then that uses up all of the pattern paper scraps. So here are my 5 cards. This was the version of sketch A, both versions, one I made with you, one I made off camera. And then I had some cardstock scraps left over, so I added those to the inside of the cards. And then for sketch B, I have 2 of those as well. One I made with you, one I made off camera, and I have scraps on the inside of there as well. So by using up the cardstock scraps on the inside, that made this a completely no scrap sketch set combo, I guess, for pattern paper and the cardstock that I use. So win, win, win. And I got to try some different adhesives and figure out which tape runner I like the best. I love them all. And like I said, there are things I like about each of them, but I think my favorite overall is the retractable. So you might see me using that one more often. Please be sure to check out the description box for links to the products and the sketches. Thank you so much for your time today, and hope you all have a very crafty day.